Q98.5 Omaha's modern hit music. Pat and JT. We're going to be talking Pat and JT After Dark coming up in about 10 minutes. We have the folks from PRISM here talking about paranormal stuff. We
Excited.
have some EVPs. If you don't know what an EVP is, it's when the actual recordings of paranormal spirits, ghosts, whatever you think.
Electronic voice
phenomena.
That's it.
Yes.
I couldn't think what the P was.
I thought yesterday, extravascular. No. So we have, they're here and cannot wait to talk to them about what's going on this weekend at UNO. Also next weekend for After Dark. And these EVPs are crazy.
Yeah.
Q98.5 Omaha's modern hit music. Pat and JT, good morning.
Good morning. Temperatures are going to get a little bit warmer. Honestly, it feels really nice out even though it's only 36 degrees. Probably going to see about 55 today. We'll have the complete forecast with Matt Surrey from Channel 7 coming up.
Coming up a week from, speaking of coming up, not tomorrow, but next Saturday, it's Pat and JT After Dark in our Liney Lounge. It's going to be live from 9 to 11 here on Q98.5. You're going to want to be listening because it's an interactive paranormal extravaganza. It's going to be so much fun. It's basically on Halloween. If you've listened to our show for any number of years, on Halloween Day, or the day closest to that we have a show, we talk all about ghost stories, haunted local urban legends, haunted places here in town.
And that started years ago, and it was kind of by accident, that things started. We started talking about it, and I remember probably one of the turning points was when we were talking about the intersection at 168th and Blondo. Mm-hmm. And many people had experienced voices, feelings, etc., out there at that intersection, and then we found out why, and that was the cool part because it was like the background of the story, and it was an accident that had happened at that intersection, and one of the family members called in and told us the whole story, and then we started getting other people started sharing their personal stories as well. That was a real turning point. That was several years ago.
Well, when somebody remember and we're trying to get a hold of everybody involved in that story to kind of talk about that again on the night of After Dark.
Yeah.
But when we had somebody, it had something to do with the phrase "kick it up a notch." And
everybody had heard that. People were hearing that when they were at that intersection, and like somebody was right next to them.
Yeah, like this. We keep hearing this, "kick it up a notch," and then the people involved called and said the brother who was eventually died because of something that happened at that intersection. That was his catchphase: "Kick it up a notch." When you were running, when you were jogging.
He was a biker.
Isn't that crazy?
Was he on a bicycle?
I think I don't remember all the details. It was something either biking or running or something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, it was an accident that had happened there several years before. It had happened there, and that was where that phrase came from. And then people heard that, and then they were really freaked out because they had heard that phrase. And they didn't know the story behind it.
So then
they had no idea that that's what it was.
That kicked up.
It was the brother.
It was John.
John called in.
So that basically, speaking of, kicked our whole segment in Halloween for us up a notch, because that's when we started really taking the whole day of Halloween and talking about that stuff.
There are a lot of haunted places around.
There really are
in this area. I mean, and then we now noticed or met, I should say, on Twitter. Hit that dive, or what's it? Yes. Yeah. And he goes around to different little bars and restaurants and things, and he said there are a bunch of haunted bars in Omaha. Mm-hmm. Which makes sense. Then showed us one picture that he had of one of the bars that used to be the bar used to be a mortuary. Okay, who knew? But there are a lot of old buildings in town as well.
If that's not gonna get haunted, a mortuary bar. And who knows more about haunted places here in town than an actual ghost and paranormal investigation team, PRISM, and Kelly and Carl are in studio with us. And we've met. How long have we worked with you guys? Like 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, I think this is number 3.
Number 3. Have you guys ever, I know you go and you investigate. We'll talk about an investigation that people can be involved with this weekend or coming up with you guys. Could you investigate an intersection? I mean, it's not really a structure there to investigate. Could you go out there, and had you heard of that intersection being haunted?
I've never heard of that intersection being haunted, but we can definitely investigate it in an intersection. I mean, we've investigated in outdoor locations all the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that was probably one of the neatest stories, just to find out the background on it, because we'd already heard everybody talking about what they had heard at the intersection, and then to have the family call in and explain, well, this is what happened at that intersection.
That's super cool.
And he was kind of, I don't know, not freaked out, but I think it was like, wow, because people are hearing that. That's what my brother always said. It was just kind of like a meeting of the minds. All of a sudden, you had these stories were going on here and this here, and then the two met.
And that's that validation that we're always looking for.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So we're going to be in just a little bit in the next 15 minutes or so. You guys have sent us some EVPs, which am I correct in saying that it is a electronic voice phenomena?
Yes, you are correct.
Booyah. So we're going to be playing some of those coming up, and then on Saturday, but next, the 26th. Talk about this EVP that we're going to be hearing that nobody has heard other than a handful of people that you guys got at Villisca.
Yeah, we were at Villisca August 30th. We did an overnight investigation there, and we actually weren't feeling a whole heck of a lot in the house. It was kind of an off night, and I was afraid that we weren't going to get a lot of evidence from when we went through the audio and video review, but we got a lot of good EVPs, and this is a hobby for all of us, so I review audio evidence at work on my lunch break, and I captured this audio at lunch on my work or at work, and freaked out and pulled my headphones off and started crying, and so it's just been it was definitely crazy.
I can even tell that you're kind of just thinking about it. It's pretty emotional. So we're going to have that coming up on the 26th during Pat and JT After Dark. But we will have some other ones this morning from Villisca.
Absolutely.
What are the other ones that we're going to be listening to this morning?
We've got a little teaser from UNO because we've got our annual summit here at UNO tomorrow. So we're going to kind of tease a little bit that, the university is actually haunted, and you get to go on a mini ghost hunt after the presentations are over on Saturday. So we've got an EVP from UNO, and then we've also got one from Haunted Hollow, which is our big event that we're having on Monday, where a Q listener and a guest get to come with us to investigate it out at Haunted Hollow.
And in the next 20 minutes, we're going to give those tickets away. We'll give some tickets for people to go through Haunted Hollow, plus join you guys on an investigation. We'll do that coming up. Talk about the summit. Talk about the summit out at UNO. So
it's the third annual, and this year we have, I believe, 6 to 7 different paranormal investigation groups in the Midwest that are coming out for this. They're going to all share their best of evidence, each get about 20 minutes to talk about it. And then at the end of the paranormal investigators, then we have the one and only Psychic Andy coming out.
That's right.
And due to a recent cancellation, Elizabeth has been gracious enough to step up, and Elizabeth is actually going to be talking as well.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to be a great event. And then after Andy is done, then we're going to go out and break off into a mini ghost hunt and have fun on campus.
Nice. I mean, this isn't a full-time job for you guys investigating. It's a hobby, but it's a hobby that you're very good at. Can you think of anything that sticks out? We probably talked about this last year, like something that sticks out in your mind. Maybe the Villisca thing maybe now has taken over, but something that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened on an investigation. You know what I mean? Like something, either a piece of evidence, or you were scared to death. You wanted to get the heck out of there. Talk about like your most memorable story.
Well, the reason I started into PRISM was because of my apartment that was haunted, and we had a lot of experiences in the apartment. One of which, we lived on the 3rd floor, which we were the top level. And people, you would hear somebody just running around having a little dance up on the roof, and there's nobody up there, obviously. And on top of that, my stepdaughter had issues as well, and she said that anytime that she asked me to read out of the Bible or anything, the walls would start banging and shaking, and it was just a really weird experience.
So did you then get the equipment to investigate it yourself, or did you contact somebody? Is that where PRISM started? Was because of that?
No, PRISM started. David Rodriguez founded PRISM 2 years prior to this event, so that was a total of 10 years ago. So PRISM's been going for 10 years, which is amazing.
Wow.
We've been members of the group for 8 years, and when we started experiencing this stuff, we actually just did a Google search and was like, what do we do if we've got a haunted location, and PRISM, we found PRISM. We went to one of their meetings where, we got to meet with the founder, and he said, the best thing that you can do is document it yourself. Get an audio recorder, write down what you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and so that's what we did. And then we got the validation that David needed to come out and do an investigation. He came out and did an investigation at the apartment, found some stuff, and then
you moved.
And then we moved. Yes, yes, then we moved. But looking back on it, I wish we didn't move, because that would be like the perfect place to investigate now. And I live there. I mean, that would have been great. Yeah.
Would you have always had an audio recorder going?
Because
it's kind of careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah, there's pros and cons to that, because when we moved, we're like, oh, well, we're still really big into this paranormal stuff, and this is awesome. And so we set up an audio recorder at our new apartment that we were living in at the time, and And then we went to bed, and then we listened to it the next day, and it sounded like there was buffalo running around in our kitchen and pots and pans banging. And number one, how did I sleep through that?
Yeah.
But
Holy cow.
yeah, we bought a house in April, and we haven't done anything there, and I'm not gonna ever, I don't want to know. I know there's something there, but
Ignorance
I don't.
is bliss.
Yes.
Really? Because you're right. If you take that audio recorder and you set it on your table and you hear something that you can never forget,
Right.
or, then it changes everything.
Well, and this is a house we bought. I mean, we can't just break the lease and go.
Right.
We're in it, so yeah.
Man.
We always take the chance of on being on an investigation of bringing something home with us too. We've had that happen many times.
They'll latch on to you.
And is there anything
like
you
a
can
hitchhiker.
Can you do anything ahead of time to prevent that?
We try. We can say prayer. We can tell it when we leave. This is it. You stay here. We're leaving. You're not allowed to go with us.
Which that blows my mind, Carl, because
Wow.
the whatever they are, entities, they wreak such havoc and they scare people so much, and you're so intimidated by them. And all you have to do is go, "You're not welcome," and they go, "Alrighty," and they jump off your back and they're gone.
Most of the time, yeah.
It just seems that's such a simple answer to something that's so scary.
All right.
Well, they say how you are in this life is how you are in that life. So if you're a grumpy old man here, you're a grumpy old man there, and it's probably going to take a little more than just saying that to get rid of them.
Passive-aggressive, codependent.
I can already see you. I can already see you in the next life. Yeah.
Great.
Oh my God.
Hey, God, is there anything I can do for you, God? What's going on? Anything you need? Okay, so we'll 962-9898. We're gonna take your calls now. Caller number 9 is actually, you know what? Actually, just call, because if you can get to Haunted, what night are you planning on doing the investigation at Happy Hollow or Happy Hollow? Haunted Hollow.
Haunted Hollow investigation is Monday night. It's a Monday night, unfortunately, but we'll start the investigation at 10:30, and then we'll go until probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. So keep that in mind for your work schedules the next morning. Tuesday's going to be a rough day.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun though. And Haunted Hollow is really haunted. It's a really cool building, but it's also really haunted. So it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
So we'll go through. We'll grab some names and some phone numbers because we need to find somebody that can actually go at that time.
Yep.
So caller number 9 is just not going to work.
That's right. Yeah.
Get the calls in, and then for people that get through and that can't go on the investigation, we have some pairs of tickets to go to Haunted Hollow and just enjoy it.
Just go to the haunted attraction there and just get to experience all that Haunted Hollow has to offer, which is it's a really cool haunted house too. You can spend your whole Friday night out there easily. So.
Okay, cool.
Good deal.
All right, so 962-9898. Call us now, and we'll get you qualified or get you the tickets for that. And then right after the break, we're going to get through this, and then we do have the Pat and JT mini-series name.
Yes.
It's supposed to be at 7:20, but a little ghost told us we need to move it back just a little bit. So just stick here. We saw the iPad mini for you if you texted the word mini plus your first and last name to 68255.
Be listening. We'll have that name coming up for you here in just a couple of minutes.
Pat and JT After Dark, the 26th from 9 to 11 in our Liney Lounge downstairs. And the folks from PRISM in studio with us chatting about, the UNO Summit is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
UNO Summit is tomorrow. And then we're going to be live at 9 on the 26th. And that's where if you have a paranormal story, if you know a local urban legend, maybe you lived in a house that was haunted, we want your stories.
Well, we
want
do.
them.
Yeah, we obviously we aren't going to be able to get everybody's stories in.
Right.
But you're more than welcome as many people as we can fit in the lounge too, which is pretty good sized. So we're going to, by the end of this week, everybody will be notified that is asked about coming down, to let you know, okay, we're going to have you come down, and if you're planning on being there, and we're going to make sure we got a place for everybody's butt.
Yeah.
So they can sit or stand downstairs and be in with the show, and then we're going to bring people up and let them tell their stories. Along with that, of course, we're going to have Psychic Andy, and along with that, of course, we're going to have the folks from PRISM. We're also going to have some other special guests that are going to be there as well, and telling their stories too. So it's going to be jam-packed.
It is. And Sarah sent a message through Facebook as well, asking earlier in the week if we're going to be taking phone call stories. But if we have time, maybe. But we can't promise that because there's literally so much we have going on that night. We may not get to any phone calls just because we have so much planned. So we're going to try. But if we can't, maybe that'll be the next one. We'll expand it. Okay, so PRISM is in studio, guys. What's your website? People want to check you out.
www.doyouseedeadpeople.com.
Best URL on the planet, really. You were just talking to us during Sarah Bareilles that you have uploaded and updated some pictures on your site, some investigations.
We have two different parts of our website that we've updated within the last week. We've got the Haunted Hollow section updated, and we've also got the Villisca house updated with a few EVPs, some pictures, really cool still picture that we got.
Of what? When you say really cool, it means scary?
Okay, so it's a picture of a shadow. The first picture, there's no shadow, and then the second picture, there's like kind of a sort of shadow, and then the third picture, it's like almost the whole picture is shadow, and then when you lighten the shadow, there's a figure, maybe the size of a kid, sitting in a chair next to Carl.
Carl, does that freak you out a little bit looking back on it?
Well, it does after we've went back and looked through evidence in the past because the shadow has been over me before.
Yeah, 2005. Well, you know, when the investigator Michael Beacom is the one that got that photograph, and you know, he sent it to me, and he's like, you know, what do you think about this? And this was before we had lightened it and zoomed it in and saw that there was an actual little figure sitting in this chair next to him. But you know, I immediately recognized it as, well, I've used that in past presentations before because that's something that we've captured at Villisca before. And then when I went back and even did more analysis on it, turns out it was in past investigations at Villisca, but always around Carl. Never around anybody else.
Do you think it's because Carl, like a protector, you're kind of like a dad figure to them? Maybe you're going to protect them, or this? I mean, you have good energy anyway, Carl.
Since I've been going there, and we've been there so many times I can't even count. But I always talk to Paul. I always ask Paul to open the closet door. I ask him to do things for me.
So when you guys did that on the video and the door opens,
right,
that was probably him.
That's what I believe.
That's what we felt. We had a kind of a sensitive at the time that that's who she felt as well. She felt that it was the youngest, that it was Paul, that was the one that was playing all the time. And
if you go to our Facebook page and our Twitter, and Omahants, at Omahants is the Twitter account too. You can follow at Omahants. We tweeted out all these evidence videos you guys were talking about, the door opening, and they're all there, so you can go check them out before Pat and JT After Dark. Cannot wait. So, okay, a couple seconds from now, we're going to play some of the EVPs that you guys sent to us. We needed to
the Q98.5 mini-series.
Oh, my gosh. Texting the word mini plus your first and last name to 68255. I can do this all day, but we got to hold off. We got to hold off. I wanted to sit here and talk about paranormal evidence and ghost stories.
I know.
So, but be prepared. Coming up next Saturday, not tomorrow, but the next Saturday, 9 o'clock, tune into Q98.5, and that's where you can experience this. I'm suggesting that people go out on a gravel road and turn your car off, have your radio on, sit there with some friends, and just listen, because that would
freak me.
Omaha Police Department are going to have a lot of weird calls
I'm
on
sure.
next Saturday.
I'm sure.
We've got people that are planning like get-togethers anyway, because it's a Saturday night, so they were planning on having all the friends come over and do all that stuff and having the bonfire and the whole thing, and they're going to Skype us.
Oh, cool.
So we'll be
fun.
Skyping our show along with them, so we'll be able to see some of the people that are listening to the show.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so your website again, guys?
www.doyouseedeadpeople.com.
EVPs, electronic voice phenomena.
Look at you go.
You guys record them. You have an audio recorder going all the time when you're on an investigation.
Correct.
This is EVP1 UNO. Talk about what we're going to be hearing here.
Okay, so this is kind of a direct plug for the event tomorrow.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't think I mentioned it's $15 cash at the door, $10 if you bring canned food or non-perishable donation, and it's going to the food pantry, so good cause.
Yeah, for sure.
Doors open at 2:30, show starts at 3.
And we're at what building?
It's going to be in Roskins Hall on the UNO campus. In the basement, it's room 010.
Okay.
So that's going to be
Can't find room 666?
Yeah, right.
That'd be awesome.
Wow.
In the basement.
Yeah, it's in the basement.
That's pretty
creepy
good.
enough. Yeah. So at the end of the presenters and after Psychic Andy and Elizabeth go on and after our question and answer panel and everything, we're going to go on a mini ghost hunt around campus. And if you think it's silly to go on a ghost hunt on campus, you are so wrong, because this EVP was actually captured in the Durham Science Building at UNO.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
here we go.
Okay.
One of the investigations that we did at the house.
So now it's going to load.
Okay, what are we hearing?
It's a female talking.
Okay.
I talk there in the beginning and the end, and I'm actually talking about Villisca, coincidental enough.
Okay.
And I hear I was afraid, and it's a female. I was afraid.
Okay, here we go. Oh, my God!
Do that again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, she spilled her.
Pulled her whole coffee.
I did. I spilled my coffee.
Whatever. Who needs a keyboard?
Oh, my gosh. That is it is so clear.
Clear as
Play it
day.
again. Yeah.
I'm afraid that's
Wow.
totally what it is.
And that is that's actually an EVP that was captured by the UNO Paranormal Society. So that's not a PRISM. That was John Powers captured that one, and it was we had just finished up one of our meetings. We have a meeting every Saturday morning from 12 to 2 in the Durham Science Building, room number 207. Anybody can come. It's open to the public. And we had just finished up a meeting, and we were just talking, and we were hearing odd noises. I heard a little kid in the hallway of the university. There's not little kids there. And so John said, well, I'm going to turn my audio recorder on because, every good ghost investigator carries that stuff with them all the time.
Right.
And so he turned it on, and that's what he captured. And he's got a lot of other stuff, too.
I'm afraid you just clear as day.
Yep, and he's got a lot of other audio clips, too, that they're going to share tomorrow at the summit. So.
Okay. Wow. Okay, the next one is Haunted Hollow, which you guys will be investigating Monday night again, and we'll have some of that audio next Saturday for After Dark.
Yep, we're gonna hopefully get lots for After Dark when we go with our Q listeners.
So what's this one?
This was from a few years back, and just play it on, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, here they're walking around.
I hear walking, and I heard a voice.
Yep.
Which was happening and which was not.
Which was on Earth and which was ghost.
Exactly. That's
the voice was not. The voice was not there.
Okay.
We were setting up equipment. We were walking in. Nobody was talking, and that's a kid. I mean, I hear a little boy there, and we didn't have any little kids with us.
You see me? Is that what you said?
Do you see me? That's what we hear. Yep.
Oh my, that's crazy. That's a little kid.
And what's really unique about Haunted Hollow, it's a really cool location. And the owner of the building is Michael McCormick. And he called PRISM out, and he was actually planning on shutting down the haunted house. He was not going to do it anymore, just wasn't working for him, and had us come out to do an investigation of the house before, and we captured these EVPs and everything, and he's like, well, they like me, they want me to stick around, so I'm gonna stay with it. So
one of the EVPs we captured there was a voice saying McCormick, which is his last name, and he decided at that point that the spirits liked him and it was worth his while to keep the house open, and he has. It was scheduled to be torn down.
That's interesting. Well, have you guys found? Well, the spirits normally make their wishes known if they don't like somebody or if they want something. You guys to get a message across. Has that ever happened?
No, unfortunately, no. If you're looking for the smoking gun, don't do paranormal investigating, because if you ask, is there somebody here right now? Chances are you're not going to get, yes, I'm here. You're going to get, I see Paul, or something silly that has nothing to do with what you're asking. Mm-hmm. There's been studies that have been done, and it's called AAEVP. They do where they do an EVP session once a month at a certain time across the country, and so everybody records at the same time. And they have gotten evidence where lady in Utah says, I want my son to come through, and is trying to have an EVP session with her son, and she listens to an EVP that was captured in California, and it's her son. Mom, I'm here, and he's down in California trying to talk. They're just trying to figure out how to communicate, how to get across. So
okay, so this EVP number 3 from Villisca.
Yep.
What are we going to hear here?
I don't remember.
Well, we'll play it. We'll play it, and then you can talk about it.
No, it's actually if you play the looped part of it, I've got it cleaned up a little bit more. I hear female singing, like opera singing, weird something.
Gosh.
I don't know.
Okay, here we go. We'll listen to it real time and then slow it down.
Wow.
That is so weird.
See, and I don't obviously none of us was just randomly running around the house singing opera.
No.
So, and that was another unique thing when we were at the house this last time. A lot of our EVPs are of a female, so maybe Sarah Moore was coming through more. We didn't normally get Sarah in previous investigations, and maybe she was coming through a lot more, because we've got a couple other different female voices come through. So,
well, guys, we love having you in, and we can't wait till next Saturday, 9 o'clock. Yep. Make sure you guys are listening to Q98.5. It's Pat and JT After Dark, featuring PRISM and more EVPs, more evidence videos. Go to @Omahaunts. OMAHAUNTS on Twitter, and the links to your guys' YouTube channel and the videos of evidences are all there.
Love it, guys.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
See you guys next Saturday.
Weekend.
Bye.
We'll be there.
Pat and JT in the morning, Q98.5. Coming up next hour, we're going to be giving away more tickets to the actual summit, which is tomorrow at UNO. That'll happen before 9 o'clock. Dax from TMZ.